Chapter 8, Episode 1. Preparations for a dark solar eclipse. Falma and his group returned safely to the imperial capital after nearly 10 hours of air travel. Due to Falma's own fatigue and the rest of the crew, the arrival time was much longer than expected. In the meantime, a large-scale search began at the inn rented by the Holy Emperor, claiming that the Holy Emperor had disappeared or been kidnapped, but in the end the Holy Emperor unexpectedly returned to the palace, so it was important. Not reached. His Holiness, could it be that you went into the city incognito? Claude looked at her suspiciously, but she never dreamed she had made a round trip to the new continent. You must respect the actions of one of us. We courtiers must all hang ourselves to take responsibility. The Minister of State poses with his neck tied and sticks out his tongue. What an exaggeration, laughed the Holy Emperor. Sometimes I want to be alone, too. Even if you say so. His Holiness is assigned to the national body of the Empire. Do not act arbitrarily. Without guards. Dangerous without guards. It would be more difficult for Elizabeth, the Holy Empress protecting the seat of the strongest mage in the world, to be in danger. If you can't attack from the front, there will be people who will attack His Majesty in a cowardly way. For example, with poison. In that case, you should call the Corps of Bailiffs and Court Apothecaries. Especially when Falma is called, problems related to medicine are usually solved somehow. The Holy Emperor has such a perception. Anyway, to put it bluntly, we're worried about you. Exactly. I have an important document to sign today. The priests at the side are also loud. Holy Emperor. It was inevitable for them to try to be the emperor of both the seculars and the clergy, both the high priest and the emperor. After all, Pal must be appointed emperor of St. Fleuve as soon as possible. I want to reduce my work by limiting my duties to the high priest. I will give Pal a lot of work. The Saint Emperor is secretly planning, but even if Pal is to become the next emperor, there are various personnel issues. In that case, would Bruno or Falma be Pal's chief apothecary? No, Pal could do away with the imperial court pharmacy and the Chancellor's Court itself. The form of the emperor and the medical department collapsed and it became a mere de Medici's family. Above all, there was a great obstacle in the Holy Emperor's plan. Considering the previous customs, it would be impossible to abdicate unless you fight Pal in a divine battle, risking your life and losing completely. Although that's what she wanted, it's frustrating to lose on purpose in front of everyone. She doesn't want to reveal her unsightly appearance and is stronger than most. Well, but I also have a feeling I'm going to lose at Straits. I'm looking forward to that. Pale's outstanding divine skill he showed in the large-scale exercise and the flexibility to think in a different dimension he showed in the new continent. Honestly, I can't find any other way to win than to push with divine power. While I was thinking about this and that, Mother, I have something to tell you today. His son Louis, who was standing upright, appeared with a truly indignant look. Mother, seeing the expression, decided to get angry. Take the Holy Emperor to another room without saying anything. After dealing with his son's complaints for 3 hours, he was finally released. Were you insulted? Noah, who had been waiting outside the door where the Holy Emperor disappeared for 3 hours, asked about his impressions. None of the courtiers knew that Noah was waiting. This is the work of his stealth ability. Well, my throat is dry. Bring me something to drink. The child also has an open mouth and knows no mercy. Thank you very much for your hard work. I will bring it to you right away. Louis said what he wanted to say and went to bed. He said he was here. Goodbye. It is a pleasure to speak the imperial language fluently. Is that so? You are right. The Holy Emperor nodded as if he were being punished. I understand you have contracted trematodiasis. Take some time off and take some time to recover. As I always say, you don't need my personal watch. Do you want to forget about me on your own time? Still, my shadow is thin. Don't underestimate me. Thank you, Your Highness. Noah bowed respectfully and walked quickly down the corridor. I see. Is there anyone out there who would be in trouble if I abdicate? Without the Emperor's support, Noah, whose very existence is hidden, will be forgotten. To be honest, the Holy Emperor shrugged his shoulders. When Falma returned to the de' Medici's household, Lot and Blanche seemed relieved to be back. "Good luck, be safe. I'm home. I'm sorry. Falma is nervous that he has to prepare for a sermon today." When Falma returns home, he notices magic circles everywhere as soon as he enters the mansion. That's quite a lot. Was it Lot who set up the magic formations around the villa? The handwriting is the same, so I know it without asking. I don't think it's too much, but Lot seems desperate for it. "Yes, I wrote 100. Handwritten. Jowl." Falma doesn't insist, he can't even use a duplicator. "Did a demon come out? Because I can't get out. I don't know what will happen to the imperial capital without Falma-sama and His Highness. I thought I had to protect the mansion so it wouldn't be like before." Lot must have written too many talismans for the circle of flame magic. "I had bandages wrapped around my wrists, probably because I had tendinitis. That worried me." Lot must have been worried even though the Guardian Temple treasure had returned to the imperial capital. But what Charlotte did was never in vain. In the corner of the mansion, there were traces of evil spirits caught in the talisman of the flame magic formation and purified. Falma's exclusive servant Simeon, who received Falma's bag, defended Lot. "Hey, is that true? I'm happy to help." Falma is relieved that Lot's hard work has been rewarded. "Thank you, Lot." It seems Lot's magic circle was used by the expedition on the continent for self-defense. When Falma thanked him for that, Lot seemed even happier. While interacting with Lot, I noticed Blanche's look. When I think about it, Falma left Blanche behind and headed for the new continent. Blanche remembered it as if it were too late. "Little brother, it's terrible to leave me. I'm sorry." But it was still dangerous for Blanche. "Mo, treat me like a child." Blanche hit him with his divine staff for a while, but Falma had no choice but to let him hit him. Blanche suddenly noticed that Pal was nowhere to be seen. "I always wonder what I'll do if my brother doesn't come back one day." Blanche speaks her mind. And one day those fears become reality. Falma became sad and gently stroked Blanche's head. Blanche hugged me tightly. "There is power in his hands. Those left behind always suffer more than those who leave. Isn't Big Brother going home with you?" "Well, what happened when we got together in the carriage earlier? Just when I thought Pal and I were both being scolded, Pal wasn't there. Pal must have been very tired when it slept in the carriage. It didn't wake up even when I shook it, so it seemed like it had no divine power this time. This must not happen again today. I was able to replenish my divine power, but I thought I needed to regain my physical strength, so I let it sleep as long as it wanted, and it woke up the next morning." Illustration by Mimin. Years passed and it was May 1st, 1148. It is the first day of May. Falma was stunned as he flipped through the calendar in his room. I thought as I moved the toothbrush back and forth in my mouth. I wish there was a golden week in this world. Falma wishes for a long vacation to digest the accumulated work. Still, there are basically no long vacations for nobles. Closed on Sundays. Then Imperial Independence Day, birthday of His Holiness. Only the feast of the patron deity, who enters chattering. The pharmacy is closed on Saturdays and Sundays, but that's only because Falma forced them to take a day off. When will the dark eclipse be in August? The candidate date for the dark eclipse that Solomon and Juliana told me was not specific, but it should have been the end of August. I was busy with other work and completely postponed the countermeasures. Even after returning to the capital, Falma was even busier than before. Most members of the expedition who were affected by schistosomiasis were admitted to the Imperial College of Medicine and hospitalized. Falma treated them constantly. For patients with acute symptoms known as Katayama fever, i.e., symptoms such as fever caused by infection with schistosomes, Falma will administer praziquantel prepared by Ellen quickly if eggs are detected in feces or urine. Praziquantel is a short-term drug that shows therapeutic effects after 2 days of administration, and side effects are mild and not severe. Although praziquantel is effective against adult worms, it has also been insufficiently effective against larvae. For this reason, Falma pays attention to the timing of the medication while having his eyes examined and the presence of worm X checked under a microscope by an Imperial Medical College laboratory technician, and plans to retreat after 6 weeks. It should also be taken with caution when taking concomitant medications and should not be used in combination with rifampicin, a drug used to treat tuberculosis. We checked whether any of the patients were taking certain anticonvulsants, stomach medications, and antifungals, and reviewed their medication history to ensure that they were not contraindicated. Those with severe symptoms also received several additional days of prednisolone, not only with the administration of praziquantel, but also with the cooperation of several measures to destroy the eggs of schistosomes with antibodies with Emmerich. The treatment prospects have finally begun and the severely ill people have generally recovered. After that, the patients are handed over to the doctors and pharmacists of the Imperial College of Medicine and called in case of sudden changes. Even people who have already been discharged from the hospital need follow-up care in case of relapse. In this way, as always, he was very busy. Simeon quickly put on a shirt and tied a tie for Falma, who was stuck in front of the calendar. "If you need a reminder, I'll keep it in mind," he said. "Thank you. Is that so? Today's schedule is a dark eclipse. It's too late to say it's too late. I want to take cautious measures. The world might change completely after this day, and it might even be the day of Falma's death. The food is ready. I will heat up the soup. I'll be there soon." Falma was thinking about this and that at the breakfast table, so he failed to fill the finger bowl with magic water. Blanche, watching this, pulled Falma's arm. "Anyway, I have a bad stomach. I'm sorry. I spilled something." His manners are the bad, but even when Falma tries to flood the area, he doesn't find it a problem at all. When I tried to turn off the water as usual, Simeon panicked. "Oh, Falma-sama. I'm going to wipe you now." Before Simeon brought a napkin, Pal, who was with him instead of Falma, put his finger on the water that had spilled onto the table and skillfully wiped away the drops of water. "Don't be rude. Amazing, brother." Pal, having acquired the ability of the negative attribute of water, mastered it as if he was born with it. "I turn off the water too." Blanche also wants to be praised and imitated by Falma and others. But Blanche seems to have a hard time, and because she tried too hard, she put her hand in the bowl and this time turned everything upside down and threw out. "Anyway, please understand," Blanche asks her two older brothers with a dissatisfied face. "Yoshikita." This time Falma wiped his head with the towel he had gotten from Simeon. Falma was visiting Solomon, who was entrusted with the rulership of the Holy Land. Solomon works in the central part of the Great Temple under the confidence of the Holy Emperor Elizabeth and is the local manager. Judging by the reputation of the other priests, he is extremely competent in everything he is entrusted with and seems to be an effective practitioner. From the sky, Falma could easily see where he was in the vast Holy Land because he had an inversion of the internal organs. After finding Solomon's room, Falma stood outside the office as if nothing had happened. Falma, who was physically unable to knock on the door, vigorously tried to knock with a new medical staff that could disturb the material world. "Welcome, Falma-sama." Before Falma knocked on the door, Solomon vigorously opened the office door that opened inward. Falma, who had missed the knock, hit Solomon on the forehead with all his might with his cane. "I'm sorry. I didn't think the door would open." "No. I understand that you are visiting, so please meet me." As Solomon looked at the floor, Falma remembered the traps of the guardian deity that were placed on all the floors of the Holy Kingdom. "Oh, is that?" Just in case, Falma gave Solomon a block of ice to cool down. While cooling his forehead, Solomon pretended that nothing had happened. "I may be able to do a lot." Falma was filled with apologetic feelings. "So, what are you looking for?" "I want to take action against the dark eclipse, so I came to consult you." It was a coincidence. Of course, all priests prepare for the dark eclipse with a sense of danger. A dark eclipse is known as the day when the melting circle engraved on the high priest's back melts and the high priest takes his place. There is no longer a melting circle on the back of Saint Elizabeth but isolated on a cell culture. Still, I worry if it will work and if her safety is absolutely guaranteed. I can't just sit there with my legs crossed and say it's safe. We always appoint commoners as cell culture technicians, and if the day of the dark eclipse passes without incident, I don't think the melting circle could possess others. Thank you. I think it is an appropriate response. For Falma Sama and His Holiness Elizabeth, please rest assured. Solomon supplied with loyalty. Shall we take other measures? What else do you have in mind? When the melting circle melts people and uses it as lubricating oil for the gears of the hook, then the melting of the human body. It can be uncontrollable if it quickly goes beyond the body's reaction, but you need to have these drugs on hand. All possessed people should take the current divine medicine for at least 1 day to prepare. I don't think that's enough, but I'll regret it if I didn't take even the slightest countermeasures. As you say, keep all priests away from the Holy Land 3 days before and after. Thank you. Falma decided to leave the local command to Solomon. I haven't seen it for a while, so can I check on the hook's equipment? Let's go together. Never be alone. Solomon told the priest at his side that if both did not return after a certain time, they should all leave the country. This means that both Falma and Solomon fell victim to the wheel of the hammer. You don't need many people to accompany you. Yes, but not dangerous. The priests were concerned, but Falma shook his head. It's more dangerous to have someone with you. How? Even if many people came, they wouldn't be able to help if something happened. Guided by Solomon, Falma again confronted the gear of the hook in the basement with an iron plate on the floor. The gear cover of the hook, which Falma had put on after putting the floor in place, was in the same condition as when he left here. You can't see what's inside unless you open the cover, but you shouldn't open this place. That intuition rang a warning bell to Falma. On the surface, it looks like there's no change. Yes. Because it is possible that I will be possessed by the melting circle. I think that's for the best. Falma thinks Solomon's assessment is correct. Good to see you again. When Falma and Solomon returned to the surface, they were greeted by the priests, who waited nervously for their return. Thank you for coming back. When Falma passes through the Holy Land while passing the hospitality, the priests follow him. Falma's visit is revealed from the moment he entered the Holy Land. No matter how long it takes, I cannot visit you secretly. Medical God, welcome to come. I hope you are tired on the way. Would you like to take a bath? Oh, sorry. Never mind. In no time, I was surrounded by a crowd of priests and couldn't move. Asked a familiar priest. Falma. Yakujin, have you decided what to have for lunch today? I'll bring snacks. I bring bread, dried fruits, etc. When I am hungry. I didn't think I would ask the priests to prepare it, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I will prepare lunch for you if you don't mind. When you are ready, please come to the cafeteria. Thank you. Falma looked at the information board in Holy Land. Where is the library located? Although it is a small country, no matter how many times I visit, I cannot grasp the structure of the buildings in the Holy Land. The buildings are artfully intertwined, and the underground structure is also amazing. Without someone to guide me, I would get lost, but I don't want to walk too much with my companions. Falma walked for a while, searching the library and visiting Liara of Venus. Wow, medicine god. Liara bumped into Falma as she came out of the forbidden library, dropping all the books she was holding. Sorry, I suddenly appeared. While picking up Liara's books one by one, Falma observed her physical condition. What do you need today? Thank you for the quick findings. Has your asthma improved since then? Yes. I've been cleaning the library and cleaning the reading room. The attic was very dusty, Liara said fearfully. So when I cleaned up, I didn't have any more seizures. The medicine God gave me worked well. He says happily that he can read forbidden books well because his eyeballs are gone. I came to deliver it because I thought I was running out of medicine. Yes, so you remembered me. Liara was deeply moved and began to pray, but Falma managed the patient data centrally in a notebook so he knew exactly who had run out of medicine. Falma handed Liara the medicine bag and received the contents of the ancient scriptures examination she had requested. Thank you. Please examine it again. Welcome. It seems that they're establishing a good relationship with each other. Emma, an ordinary girl from a cold village on the outskirts of the Kingdom of Helvetia, hurried over to Falma, who appeared at the entrance of the village. Imperial Court Pharmacist. Emma, washing vegetables in the washing place, threw everything away and rushed over to Falma. Emma, thank you for the letter to the apothecary. Maybe you read the letter. It arrived safely, so I wanted to see your face. Last month I received a letter from Emma describing the current situation. I thought the answer would be direct. From Saint Flug for me. I had something to do in the Holy Land, so it's on its way. Emma's mother, who used to have a high fever, also jumped out and looked happy. This set was really in debt. Although Falma stopped by, he stretched his legs as far as he could and gradually visited the people he had met so far. Because one day, the end may come. Blood Pearl, what happened after that? Emma is wearing beautiful shoes. Falma was also happy about this small change. Yes, I couldn't do it after I changed my shoes. It is above all. Thanks to the priests who created the magic circle, the evil spirits have not appeared since then. All the villagers are relieved. Emma's mother will tell you. It looks like there is a pharmacy on the nearby highway. Is it thanks to Yukushi-sama? Emma is having a great time. On behalf of the Holy Emperor, a system is being set up to supply medicines in partnership with foreign guilds. This store is connected to another world pharmacy. We are working with Helvetia's Apothecary Guild to open a store. You should be able to buy over-the-counter medicine at a low price. If Emma could buy the medicine she had desperately sought for her mother, somewhere close by, at a low price, people's lives would surely change. Based on this conviction, Falma, with the strong support of the Holy Emperor, hurried to open affiliated pharmacies abroad and share her expertise. Wow, I am happy. Now I don't have to go to the next town to buy it. To protect people's health so that medicines can reach those who need them. I want the quality of the medicines provided there to be the same all over the world. I want the pharmacist who takes care of it to be a reliable expert with advanced knowledge. Already Falma is thinking about such a future in this world.